A penetrating nozzle attack can be an effective tactic when we encounter fire in an enclosed and difficult to access area. The crew needs to be familiar with the advantages and disadvantages of this tool. The crew should also have a plan for how they will actually deploy the penetrating nozzle. Every Phoenix Fire Department engine should carry both a 3-foot and a 6-foot penetrating nozzle. These nozzles should be checked frequently in order to maintain a ready state for rapid deployment. Make sure that the nozzle is free of any dents or damage that may hinder performance. The manufacturer for our penetrating nozzles recommends a minimum 3-foot hose length connected between the nozzle and any water shutoff. This prevents damage to the shutoff while striking the button of the nozzle. This pigtail can then be connected to our TFT nozzles when the automatic tip is removed. Ensure that your nozzle has a correct pigtail with aluminum couplings. If your pigtail has a brass coupling, you may have a failure during operation due to thread incompatibility. Engineers should pump the line appropriately to account for a 100 psi appliance pressure plus friction loss within the hand line selected. The nozzle can flow a maximum 150 GPM. The advantages for the penetrating nozzle. The penetrating nozzle is designed to puncture material and apply water quickly beyond this material. The water stream is dispersed at multiple angles and reaches a radius of 8 to 10 feet, even in very confined areas. The stream is designed to break up the water in order to create a more efficient conversion to steam. Obvious disadvantages that must be considered. The penetrating nozzle should not be considered a personal protection line. Therefore, any tactic utilizing this tool should either already have a protection line in place nearby or be in an exterior position that would not require a protection line in the first place. The deployment of the penetrating nozzle should be a well-coordinated event on the fireground. The fire occupancy should be thoroughly assessed in order to determine if the fire is isolated to the attic and therefore will benefit from a conversion tactic. Even if the fire is not isolated to the attic, however, the penetrating nozzle may be used for fire attack, but ventilation should be provided in order to prevent smoke and heat from dropping down on interior fire crews. The nozzle itself conducts electricity. Caution should be used when power to the building has not been turned off. There are times that the fire occupancy may have been constructed with materials that are difficult to breach. Lath and plaster construction in older homes, as well as tongue and groove construction in higher-end homes, are examples of when the penetrating nozzle may be more effective. Anytime an attic fire is identified, everyone on the fireground should begin considering the potential of using the penetrating nozzle. Captains should evaluate whether this is an isolated attic fire or not, and whether ventilation will be needed during the operation. If a conversion tactic is desired, a strong command presence should ensure that the ceiling should remain intact as much as possible. Engineers can forward stage the penetrating nozzle in the front yard, the same way we stage our saws, banger ladders, and hand tools. Firefighters should be familiar with how to connect the nozzle on the end of the TFT tips. Firefighters should also be familiar with the safe methods for striking the tool using a sledge or flathead axe. It is important for firefighters to have an exit strategy in place when using the penetrating nozzle, because at times it may be necessary for firefighters to change tactics and redeploy with the TFT nozzle if conditions change rapidly. A crew that is assigned to a mansard attack can make a powerful impact on the fireground by preventing extension to neighboring occupancies within the building. First, deploy the penetrating nozzle at the farthest point where the fire extension is suspected within the mansard. Open the nozzle for 30 to 60 seconds. The nozzle can be moved around in all directions while flowing water in order to cover all the areas within the structure. After shutting down the nozzle, move 8 to 10 feet closer to the fire occupancy and deploy the nozzle again in the same way. At times, an engine crew may be assigned to work with a ladder company in order to perform a coordinated roof attack on a mansard. Crews should operate in essentially the same way as the mansard attack from below. It is possible that multiple crews will be addressing the mansard from different sides at the same time.